Hello, Fixed Virus Security Show about Tony Z. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to tell you a little bit more about myself here. Okay, so a little more about myself. One of the ways I'm trying to do it is maybe in like asking you questions. So should an ethical hacker fix a computer that has a security flaw that I told you about? Let's say you hired me and said, check out this computer. So I checked out the computer and I said, all right, this flaw is on the computer. You need to patch it. You need to fix the software X, Y, and Z. So is it ethical for me to then fix your computer? I say no, because comes a slippery slope. I can tell you all kinds of problems. So you have to find somebody to fix those security flaws that I recommend. So if you tell me, test this computer, test that computer, I cannot fix those computers. You have to find somebody to fix them. That is the role of the ethical hacker. So another thing about me is I'm a Greek Orthodox Christian with Philotimo. I've talked about Philotimo before. Philo is friend, Timo is honor. So I'm a friend of honor. Do the right thing. That's what it is all about. I've used Linux since 1995. Here is, for example, a Red Hat Linux 5.1 CD set that I've kept over the years. This is the front. See that? And there's the back. It's in here. It says a copyright 1996 to 98. So this is the precursor to Red Hat Enterprise. Today, big computers, big companies are using lots and lots of computers, including large computers, big computers. But they're running a Red Hat Enterprise. You're paying Red Hat for that. Back then, it was all free. You would just have to buy the CD maybe or something like that. So that's what it was in 96. So that's like 20 years ago now. So, okay. Other things. I've been part of the open source community for over 20 years. I've been in and out of it now. In the late 90s, I was actually the leader of the Linux group. I know many people in the community here in St. Louis. So I want to leave you with one thing. The difference between me and somebody else is that I'm a systems engineer. What does that mean? Well, I studied at Washington University in 93. I graduated. Well, for example, this is a diagram of the X, Y, and Z axis. X, Y, and Z axis. It's a three-dimensional representation of the three-dimensional space in the complex variables. If you notice, like this right here is a dot that is represented with this is the Z, there's the X and the Y coordinates. So you have different degrees of angles of where this arrow actually is. So the thing, though, that I want to mention about this is that this is what you need to know and understand to get quantum computers to work. So if you want to program quantum computers, you better understand that as a minimum concept. The reason I mention that is because once quantum computers actually start working, and could it be this year, could it be next year, but you have to be able to roll with the punches, and things are going to really change fast in the IT industry once quantum computers start working. Because if you think about it, Turing, the zeros and ones, the bytes and bits that we're using today, they're it's from the 50s. That architecture is from the 50s. Robert Feynman with quantum computers developed our architecture in the 90s. So now we're still developing the actual quantum computer architectures. There's different competing models out there, and we'll see who actually wins and gets theirs to work first. But when it actually does happen, then what will happen is you'll see encryption change quickly. So let's say we had all kinds of problems last year with. This is why I made my little T-shirt here. You know, I'm selling it. Selling this big T-shirt on my website. You know, it's a large, for example. But in the back, I put the 3 problems that we had last year or so. Shellcode, Heartbleed, and Ghost glibc. I could have added a couple more, I guess. Maybe I'll create another T-shirt that has the other problems as well. But I don't know if you remember some of the security encryption problems that we had. Well, those security encryption problems, they will change completely again if there's quantum computers on the world. And in fact, everything will change. So that is why you should talk to me, because I can handle most anything, and especially weirdnesses. And the other thing is, if you notice, I put nothing on my websites as far as who my clients are. There's a reason for this. I'm not going to talk about security issues, security problems, security good points. We can talk one-on-one of your specific situation. I will never talk about that situation to anybody. That is my word. That is who I am, because I will do the right thing. I appreciate your listening, and we'll talk to you next time.